Hi everyone, welcome to my class. My name's Lizzie, and today's class we're going to be focusing on the hips, so really opening up that space in the pelvic region. So just before we get started, just remember that I'm not liable for you because this is an online class, so anything that you do and practice at home whilst watching this video, take care, be gentle with yourself, really listen to the body, listen to what feels right and listen to what doesn't feel right. And if you're feeling sort of any painful sensations, just very gently ease out of the pose. Okay, and so some props that we need for the class today. Just one or two blocks if you've got them, or like a thick dictionary. So before we get started, the reason I'd like to sort of focus on the hips today is that it's quite a crucial area for sort of storing blocked energy. So the pelvic area and the hips sort of represent the root chakra, the Muladhara, which is the first of the 7 chakras. And this area is really represents sort of primal needs, sort of sustenance, security, shelter. And when those needs aren't being met, you know, we might feel sort of unstable, unbalanced, insecure, not very grounded. So hopefully today's practice, we're going to get those hips nice and open and yeah, hopefully release any sort of blockages. And at the same time, you know, if you're a runner as well, and getting that sort of the hip flexors and the hip pelvic region open is really great as well, getting a nice stretch. Okie dokie. So let's all just begin in easy Sukhasana pose. So seated with the legs crossed, rolling the shoulders back and down, gently tucking the chin in. And if it's comfortable to do so, gently closing your eyes. And just begin by arriving in the space here and now. And any worries, concerns, plans, lists, I'd like you to leave at the door just for this practice. And I assure you, you can go back to those at the end of the class. So as you arrive in the space, just bring your awareness to any external sensations that are going on outside your body. So sounds, smells, temperature, and just observing how you interact with those. How do they make you feel? And then bring your awareness now to your body. And taking a moment to scan from the head all the way down to the feet and back up again. Observing if there's any tension in the body or in the mind. And if there is any tension in the body or the mind, just be aware that this may affect your practice today. But that's absolutely fine, and hopefully today's practice will ease out that tension through a bit of breath work, through postures, and through relaxation meditation. And I'd like you to set yourself a couple of positive affirmations today. The first one is, in your mind's eye, repeat to yourself, I am, I belong, I'm secure, I'm stable. I am, I belong, I'm secure, I'm stable. I am, I belong, I'm secure, I'm stable. And just really sort of visualize that in your mind's eye. if it's possible to do so. Visualizing yourself in your home, you're comfortable, you have your basic needs there, food and shelter. And then now bring your awareness to the natural rhythm and the quality of your breath, just observing it as it is. And if your thoughts are starting to wander, just come back to observing that breath. You can imagine that your thoughts are like clouds in a deep blue sky, let them float away. You can also imagine that your thoughts are like waves in an ocean. Let the wave come, let the wave go. Let the thought come, let the thought go. So rather than attaching onto a thought, so grasping, holding on, or trying to push it away, what about just completely surrendering, letting go, if that's possible, and then return to the breath, here and now, in this moment. Now I'd like you to observe where you notice your breath. Do you notice it in your nostrils? Do you notice it in the neck? Do you notice it in the chest? Or do you notice it in your belly? And wherever you notice it, that is absolutely fine. But I'd like you to take your attention to that point where you notice it. And as you begin to take note of your breath, the breath becomes slower and deeper. And as the breath becomes slower and deeper, you become more relaxed, you become more still. Now I'd like you to start counting your inhalations and exhalations. So inhale, count 1, exhale, count 2, inhale, count 3, exhale, count 4, inhale, count 5, exhale, count 6, and continue on. Just keep counting the inhalations and the exhalations, moving from 1 up to 20. And if you notice that your thoughts start wandering, I'd like you to return back to 1. And remember to relax your shoulders as well, if they're feeling a bit stiff. Now when you're ready, gently come back to normal rhythmic breathing. Just observing the body, the breath. Observing your sitting bones against the ground, observing the legs and the feet against the ground. And as we observe our body, the weight of our body against the ground, we begin to feel more grounded. And by grounded, I mean that we're not constantly in that mind thought process all the time, that we're actually becoming more embodied. We're in our bodies alongside our hearts, our souls, our breath, and our mind. Gently open the eyes. Okay. And I'd now like you to all start in child's pose, a wide-legged child's pose, in fact. So widen the legs, maybe the distance of the mat. And then exhale, begin to fold forward, tucking the belly in, bringing your forehead to the ground. You may wish to stretch your arms out in front of you, or you can just have your arms out at your sides, whatever feels right for you. And just taking this moment now to feel the body against the mat. Feeling the body grounded. Inhaling and exhaling, noticing the gentle stretch on your back. And knowing that you are on your mat in your home, which is sheltering you, and you have everything you need here and now, right now. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose, noticing the weight of the body against the ground, and then very gently draw your knees in together and then forward fold again. Just noticing any difference of sensation in the hips now. So we're really going to be working on hip mobility today. Again, opening up those hip areas, working on hip flexibility, hip mobility, but also awakening, removing any blockages in the Muladhara, the root chakra. And then when you're ready, very slowly inhale. Come up to center, exhale, release. And from here, coming into tabletop. So before we move into a full tabletop, I'd like you to check your wrists for a moment. So if your wrists are a little bit stiff, just begin by rotating them one at a time. Do it a couple of times in one direction and then a couple of times in the opposite direction. And then you may wish to bring the tops of your hands on the mat as well to help with that extra stretch, and then turning the hands out to the sides with whatever feels good for you. And repeating on the opposite side. And then when you're ready, coming into tabletop. So in tabletop, making sure your hands are shoulder distance apart, your knees are hip distance apart. And then making sure that the sacrum is relatively flat, so you're not completely sticking your bottom out. That sort of flat bone there is sort of naturally flat. Making sure you've got your belly tucked in as well. And let's just begin with a couple of cat-cow sequences. So in cow, we drop the belly, stick the bottom down, tilt the head back, inhale. Exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, tuck the tailbone in, the crown of the head drops towards the ground. Exhale, really feeling that stretch on the back now and engaging the muscles on the belly. Inhale to cow, so we're engaging the muscles on the back now and stretching the muscles on the front of the body. And then exhale into cat, tucking the tailbone in, drawing the navel in, the crown of the head drops towards the ground. Inhale to cow, stick that bottom out, tilt the head back. Exhale to cat, tuck the tailbone in, drop the crown of the head towards the ground. Inhale to cow. exhale to cat. And do just a few more of those on your own. Feeling that natural movement in the spine. So this is really great to practice first thing in the mornings and just before you go to bed. We're getting that movement in the pelvis area as well. And then coming back to center when you're ready. Okay. And then from here, I'd like you to mindfully slide the left leg back. Really engage that left leg and keep the top of the left foot down on the mat for the moment. Making sure that your knees are shoulder distance apart, hip distance apart, and your arms, your hands are hip shoulder distance apart. Take an inhalation, raise that left leg so now it's in line with the hip. You don't want it too high, you just want it so it's high enough because you're sort of really working on your posture here, your spine, and on the muscles on your back. Breathe. And then from here, take another inhalation, raise the right arm so it's in line with your right ear. Keep breathing. And then you may wish to draw your knee and your elbow in towards one another. Tuck. Exhale. Inhale, raise the arm and the leg. Exhale, tuck the knee and the elbow together towards the belly. Inhale, raise the arm and the leg. And one more time, tuck the knee and the elbow in towards one another. And then very slowly exhale, drop the right hand to the ground. Draw that left leg back again. And then drop it down. And then mindfully slide that left leg back in. And you may just wish to give your left wrist a little bit of a rotation, just a bit of a stretch again. Okay, coming back to center, making sure the sacrum and the pelvis is neutral. So when I talk about having a flat sacrum, it's just about making sure that the pelvis is neutralized. And then from here, take an inhalation, lift the left leg up, keeping that leg bent. And then I'd like you to draw circles with that left knee. And see if the movement can come from the hip opposed to moving the whole spine. So see if the movement comes from the hip opposed to the whole spine. So just small circles, working on that hip mobility. And then back to center, dropping that left knee down. Taking an inhalation now, stretch that right leg behind you, really engaging the leg now. Take an inhalation, raise the right leg so it's in line with your right hip. And then take another inhalation, raise the left arm so it's in line with your ear. Keep breathing. Exhale, bring the knee and the elbow in towards one another where the belly is. Then inhale, raise the left arm and the right leg. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, raise the left arm and the right leg. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, drop that left hand. And then exhale, drop the right leg down and mindfully slide it in towards your knees. Okay, and then from here, inhale, raise that right leg. And then begin to draw circles with the knees. So we're just working on that range of mobility in the right hip now. Obviously, the wider the circles you do, the more the movement comes from the rest of the body. So just do small movements, small circles. Breathe. See if you can keep that spine straight. And then back to center and release. And then just give that right wrist a little bit of rotation. Okay. And then from here, bringing your hands to the front of the mat, really spreading the fingers, bringing your weight into the fingertips. And then imagine you've got a bit of suction going on between the palms and the mat. So now we're moving into downward dog. Taking an inhalation, lift the knees off the ground. As you lift the knees, begin to exhale and push the hips and the thighs towards the back of the room. And then just begin by pedaling the legs out. Making sure your feet are hip distance apart as well and your hands are shoulder distance apart. And it doesn't matter if you can't get your heels down on the ground. If you bring a little bend in the knees, you can sometimes work towards pushing those hips a bit higher up as well. Okay. Then from here, taking an inhalation, raising the right leg up high, sweep it or step it through in between your hands, dropping the left knee to the ground into a low lunge. So in a low lunge, we're working on those hips, the left hip flexor, the muscles here, and we're also working on the mobility of the right hip. So you can either be on your tippy toes on your left foot at the back, or you can have the foot flat down. Okay, take an inhalation, lift the torso off the ground. Bring your hands onto your right knee for a moment and look straight ahead. Really engage your pelvic floor now, so really squeezing those pelvic floor muscles. Try not to push too far down into your hips to the point where you're dumping in your lower back. If you draw your hips up ever so slightly, you notice that you're engaging your core and you're engaging those muscles. So this is option 1 to stay here. Option 2, place your left hand on the mat just to the left of your foot. Look behind you over your right shoulder and then draw your left foot in towards your buttock and then see if you can take hold of your left foot and then push the hip forward slightly and breathe. So we're getting a nice quad stretch here, working on the left hip flexor as well. Keep breathing, working on that right hip too. Breathe. And then very gently exhale, release that leg back down to the ground. And if you found that difficult on your knee, you can use a blanket directly below your knee as well. So placing your hands now back down on the mat, bring the right foot to meet the left foot back into a downward dog. Again, just taking a moment to pedal those legs out. And then from here, taking an inhalation, raising that left leg up high, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, Anjanasana. So again, if you're feeling a bit of pain in your knee, you can either place a pillow or a cushion or a blanket just underneath that right knee. Okay. Taking an inhalation now, bringing your hands onto your left knee. So engaging your pelvic floor, slightly draw the hips up ever so slightly. So you're getting a bit of buoyancy there now on the hip area. Look straight ahead. This is option 1, breathe. Option 2, exhale, drop the right hand to the mat. Look over the left shoulder. Inhale, draw the right knee in towards your buttock. And then see if you can take hold of that right foot with your left hand. Breathe, just look over the shoulder, keep breathing. And you're going to feel an intense stretch in the quad here, but also in the right hip flexor. And we're working on the mobility here of the left hip as well. Keep breathing. If this is too strong, just very gently ease out. And then very gently release and lower that right leg to the ground. And then bring your right foot now, exhale, to meet your left foot into a forward fold, soften the knees, and then gently fold forward. By softening the knees and bringing a bend in the knees, you're just releasing any pressure that's been created in the lower spine. Just breathing in and out through the nose, keeping that belly tucked in,
And then very slowly come up, one vertebrae by vertebrae at a time. The head the last to come up. Bringing your arms up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. So our starting stance in a lot of standing postures, Tadasana, mountain pose, so the feet can be together. But if you find that a bit unsteady on your balance, you can have your feet sort of sitting bone distance apart, rolling the shoulders back and down, placing the hands on your hips or your palms facing the front, and just taking this moment now again to close your eyes, noticing the body against the ground, so your feet against the ground, really rooting down through those feet, pushing the energy into the ground through your bones and drawing up that energy through the connective tissues. And as you notice the weight of your feet against the ground, you begin to feel more grounded here and now. And noticing the ground, your mat, here and now in your home where you have everything you need. Because everything we need and have is inside of us. Keep breathing. And then begin to bring your weight onto your right foot. And then your left foot. Your right foot. Your left foot. Both feet to the front of the feet. The center of the foot. The back of the foot. The center of the foot. The front of the foot. Back to center. And then just bring a tiny little micro bend into those knees. And then gently open your eyes. And hopefully you're all standing at the front of your mat, about 1 foot from the front of the mat, bringing your hands to heart center into Pramanasana, prayer pose, keeping that tailbone tucked in. Taking an inhalation, circle sweeping the arms up into Hasta Uttanasana, raised arm pose, and then exhale, begin to fold forward, keeping the tail so fold forward, bringing your forehead towards your knees, and you can just bring a gentle bend in the knees as well. Take an inhalation, step the left foot all the way back, drop the left knee to the ground into a low lunge, Anjanasana, looking straight ahead. So just moving into sun salutation sequence, bringing the palms flat, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a plank pose, so tucking the tailbone in. Imagine your one long muscle. Exhale, press down, keeping those elbows tucked in, dropping the tops of the feet onto the ground. Take an inhalation, keep that pubic bone down on the ground, keep the pelvis down. Lift the shoulders and the chest up, roll the shoulders back and down into cobra or baby cobra. Then exhale, drop the head down, pushing into the hands, lifting the hips and the knees off the ground into a downward dog, making sure your feet are hip distance apart. Taking an inhalation, raising the right leg up high, step it through or sweep it through into Anjanasana, low lunge. And then exhale, bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a forward fold, into Padahastanasana. Inhale, raise the arms into Hasta Uttanasana. Exhale into prayer, Pramanasana. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, right knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Press the palms down, bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a plank pose, tucking that tailbone in. Exhale, pressing down, keeping those elbows tucked in. Inhale, lift the chest off the ground into Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana, keeping those shoulders down. Exhale, lower the head all the way down, pushing into the hands, lifting the hips up and back into a downward dog. Taking an inhalation, raising the left leg up high, Sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. And then from here, exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale into prayer. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold, head to knees. Inhale, step the left foot back, left knee to the ground into a low lunge. Press the palms down. Exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a plank, pressing all the way down, coming all the way down. Take an inhalation. Now lift the chest off the ground into cobra pose, keeping those shoulders down. Micro bend in the elbows. Exhale, lower the head all the way down, bringing the hips and the knees up, back into a downward dog, making sure your feet are shoulder distance apart, hip distance apart. Taking an inhalation, raising the right leg up high, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Then bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. One more, guys, you're doing really well. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold, head to knees. Inhale, step the left foot back, left knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Drop the palms to the ground, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a plank pose. Exhale, pressing all the way down, keeping that tailbone tucked in. Inhale, lift the chest off the ground into cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, drop the head, pushing into the hands, lifting the hips and the knees up and back into a downward dog. Inhale, raise that left leg up high, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, dropping that right knee to the ground. And exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale into prayer. And then just taking this moment just to rest, either in prayer, into Dasana, or you can take hold of opposite elbows and then just gently sway from side to side. So folding forward in ragdoll, keeping that belly tucked in. Let the head hang loose. And then just taking this moment to observe the benefits of the sun salutation sequence. So this is a real classic that's used in a lot of yoga classes, and the reason is that you're getting a full sort of body stretch, you're getting the energy circulating around the body, getting the blood flowing, getting that oxygen to the cells, really waking you up. And you're getting quite a bit of sort of hip movement there as well. And then very slowly, one vertebra at a time, let the hands, arms dangle, and inhale, come up to center, but the head the last to come up. And then just gently roll those shoulders. So with anyone that sort of does suffer from rounded shoulders at all, like myself, it's really nice just to circle those shoulders after doing a sun salutation sequence. And then when you're ready, come to standing at the front of your mat, about 1 foot from the front of the mat. And then from here, stepping your left leg all the way back. So your left foot is about 4 or 5 feet back, and I'd like your heels to be aligned, and your left foot is at 9 o'clock and your right foot is at 12 o'clock. So keeping that tailbone tucked in, but slightly drawing in the left hip, but making sure that your chest is open, the shoulders are rolled back and down. So that right hip is turned, the left hip is turned in slightly. You're trying to keep your shoulders down, the chest is open. You're imagining that your back is almost against a wall. Taking an inhalation now, raising the arms so they're in line with your shoulders, looking to the back arm and the front arm and checking if they're aligned.
And then your dristi, which is your focus point. I'd like that to be either your index finger or your middle finger. From here, exhale, bring a right angle now into that right leg. So I'd like your right knee and your right ankle to be aligned if possible, and then just check that your right knee is just to the right of your right big toe. So if you notice that your right kneecap is just to the left of your big toe, draw that leg out, because we're really working on opening up that right hip flexor here. Okay, breathe. So really rooting down through the feet as well, engaging the legs, engaging the quads. And when you engage the quads, you really notice all the muscles working on your legs. So this is a really strong pose. And if you imagine that you've got a weight pushing against your arms and up your arms, so you've got an invisible force working. Real strong warrior here. Then inhale, raise that right arm, and then bring your left hand onto your left thigh into graceful warrior. Exhale, come back into warrior two. And as you transition, I'd like you to try and keep that right angle in that leg. Inhale, raise that right arm, drop the left hand on the left thigh. Exhale into warrior two. One more time. Inhale, raise the right arm overhead. Exhale into warrior two. And then very gently release the arms, and you can straighten that left leg for a moment. Okay, just taking a moment to rest here. Okay, and then from here now we're moving into Trikonasana triangle pose, keeping that tailbone tucked in. The shoulders are rolled back and down. So this time we are keeping that front leg straight. You can have that right knee locked, or you can just bring a tiny little micro bend into that right knee. Rolling the shoulders back and down, take an inhalation, raise the arms with the palms, your palms facing the left hand side of the room. So the length of your left hand side of the mat. Then exhale, really begin to reach forward with that right hand. Either bring it onto a block, onto your calf, onto your ankle, or onto the mat. Then roll that left shoulder back. Inhale, raise the left arm up high. And the left hand wants to be facing the left hand side of the room. It's the direction that you're looking in. And then if you're able to, as a final touch, keep breathing. Bring your gaze to your middle left finger. Keep breathing. Oh, so you really feel rooting down through those feet. Really spreading the weight, engaging those legs, engaging the quads. So you're going to be feeling a good stretch in your right hamstring here, in the right hip flexor. We're actually working on both hips actually. You're getting a nice stretch in the left hand side of the body here. And then very gently inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release the arms. Pivot round on the right foot, so the right foot now comes to 3 o'clock and your left foot now comes to 12 o'clock. Moving back into warrior two, we're just working on the opposite side now, rolling those shoulders back and down. This side, this time, turning your right hip in slightly. So again, your feet shouldn't have, the distance of your feet really shouldn't have moved, and just making sure those heels are aligned as well. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Imagine your back is pressed against a wall. Keep that tailbone tucked in. Take an inhalation, raise the arms so they're shoulder height. Bring your gaze to your left middle hand, to your left middle finger. Oh, I've got the cat trying to come in. Okay, and then from here, take an exhalation, bring a right angle now into that left leg. And the more parallel your thigh becomes, the more parallel your thigh is with the mat, the deeper the stretch. So keep breathing, and you just want to make sure that your left knee and your left ankle are in line. Keep breathing. And your drishti, your focus point, should be your left middle finger. Keep breathing. And then from here, take an inhalation, raise that left arm, bring your right hand onto your right thigh, overhead into graceful warrior. And then exhale back to warrior two. Inhale to graceful warrior. Exhale to warrior two. Inhale to graceful warrior. Exhale to warrior two. Virabhadrasana two. And then from here, gently release the arms. You can stretch that left leg out straight now, just giving you just a little bit of a break if you are feeling that stretch in the legs already. Okay. So you kind of want your hips to be more square in Trikonasana now. And you want to imagine that your shoulders are going to be pressed up against a wall. Taking an inhalation, raising the arms, they're in line with the shoulders. Your palms are facing the left-hand side of the room. The right-hand side this time. Exhale, really begin to reach forward. And then bring your hand either onto your calf, onto a block, or onto the mat. And see if you can keep a tiny little micro bend in that left knee. Inhale, roll that right shoulder back. Inhale, raise the right arm. So the right palm is facing the right hand side now. Keep breathing. And if you can, bring your gaze to your right hand. But if that is causing too much strain on your neck, just drop your gaze back down again. And if anyone suffers from sort of high blood pressure, you can again just bring your gaze down. And then just imagine you've got your shoulders pressed against a wall. Doing really well, guys. So just really rooting down through those feet, working on the hamstring here, the left hip flexor, getting those hips open, really stretching in the right hand side of the body, working on the muscles on the back, but also in the obliques. And then inhale very slowly, come back up to center, and then turn your left foot in now. So it's pointing in the same direction as your right foot. And then bringing your hands to your hips, keeping that tailbone tucked in. You may wish to have a gentle sort of bend in the knees as well if you're finding that quite a strong stretch. But if you want to widen your stance, if you want a good sort of stretch, what we're going to do is we're going to take an inhalation, just tilt the head back for a moment. And then exhale, begin to fold forward, tuck that belly in, and then just come down halfway. Breathe. So really sort of noticing the grip of your feet against the outer edges of the feet and in the toes and in the heels and in the balls of the feet. Keep breathing. And then very slowly inhale, come back up to center. And then just toe heel the feet back to center. Okie dokie. And then from here, I want you to really ground down through your left foot now. Really, really ground down. Just bringing a micro bend in the left knee. Then bring your right leg, so straighten up the torso, and then bring your right leg over the top of the left. So you may wish to bring your weight onto the right big toe. But if you really want to focus on balancing, lift that right foot off the ground. And if you want even more of a challenge, see if you can wrap that foot around your right calf, your left calf. So this is option one, staying here. Option two, then exhale, sinking into those hips. So bringing a bend into those knees, moving into Garudasana, eagle pose. Then bring the left arm over the top of the right, and then wrap them around, bringing your palms together. And then lift the elbows so they're in line with the shoulders, and breathe. And then just find a point to focus on. Notice all the tiny little movements your feet are having to make. Breathe. Really strengthening the legs here. Squeeze those legs. And then gently exhale, release the arms. And then bring the right leg down. And then just shake out that left leg for a moment. Okay. So from here, really grounding down now through the right leg, bringing a tiny little micro bend into that right knee. And then bringing the left leg over the top of the right, and you may wish to be balancing on your left big toe like so. Keep the torso straight. If you want more of a challenge, lift that left leg up, breathe. Even more of a challenge, wrap that left leg around the calf. Exhale, see if you can sink into the hips. Breathe. And then finally, bring your right arm over the top of the left, wrap them around, and then bring your palms together. Breathe. And then see if you can lift the elbows so they're in line with the shoulders. Breathe. Oops. Finding a point to focus on. Notice all the tiny little movements you're having to make. And then very gently release the arms. Release that left leg. And then just give that right leg a little bit of a shake. And then from here you can rest now in child's pose. Exhale, bring your forehead to the ground. And then just taking this moment to connect the mind, the body and the breath, here and now. And just observing any thoughts that may have arisen to do with how you did in that balancing pose. And if any sort of negative thoughts come up, I'd like you to just judge with kindness and love. Because yoga is the journey, not the destination. So it's just all about how we do in that moment. And it's just, in yoga, we're just slowly chiseling away, making baby steps of progress all the time. And I'd just like you to take your awareness now to your hips and your legs and your pelvis. And in the middle of your pelvis, I want you to visualize and imagine a red square. And in that red square, you see lightness, and you see security, stability, love, and belonging. And then when you're ready, very gently inhale, come back up to center. We're going to be moving into pigeon pose from downward dog. So if anyone that really struggles with a downward dog, you can just come into tabletop. Okay, so you're either going to be in tabletop or you're going to be in downward dog. So if you come into downward dog, for those that are practicing that, so making sure your hands are shoulder distance apart, your hands are at the front of the mat, you're bringing your weight into your fingertips. If you're in tabletop, your hands are directly below your shoulders. And then from here, take an inhalation, begin to lift the knees, and then exhale, push those hips up and back. Keep pushing those thighs towards the back of the room, and then just pedaling those legs out. Well done, guys. And then from here, taking an inhalation, raising that right leg up high. If you're in tabletop, bring your right knee just below your right wrist. And then slide that left leg back. So if you've got your block handy, actually, as you begin to slide that left hip back, you want to create a sense of buoyancy between the hips. So the hips want to be level, but it's not about completely getting the hips all the way down to the mat. Just go with what feels right for you. So if you need to place your block directly below your right hip, that is absolutely fine. And come up onto your fingertips, the chest is open, just looking straight ahead. Making sure your left leg is completely straight behind you, the top of the foot is flat on the mat. So you're going to either be here, or exhale, bring your forearms to the mat. And then for those of you that want even more of a challenge, see if you can bring
your forehead to the ground. Exhale as you come completely down, and just stretch out those arms in front of you. And then see if you can walk your arms over to the left hand side, really stretching out through that right arm. Breathe. Inhale, come back to center. And then stretch out to the right hand side, really stretching out through that left arm. Breathe. Inhale, come back to center. And then very slowly walk the hands back into pigeon pose for Ekapada Rajakapotanasana. So you can stay here, but if anyone wants a final little challenge, see if you can draw that left foot in towards your left buttock, and then see if you can take hold of that left foot with your left hand. So getting a nice quad stretch here as well, and then look over the left shoulder. If you can't do that, you can just go back into normal pose. And then when you're ready, very slowly release. If you're in the quad stretch, exhale, release the leg very slowly and mindfully. Then bringing the palms completely flat on the mat at the front of the mat, spreading the fingers. Then bringing your weight into your left tippy toes. Then draw that right leg back into a downward dog or back into tabletop. So you either need to be back here or back into downward dog. And just give that right leg a little bit of a shake. And then from here, taking an inhalation, raising that left leg up high, sweep it through and drop the left knee just below the left wrist. Slide that right leg back. And then make sure your left heel is just to above your right hip. And if you need to use a block, just place the block underneath that left hip. Sorry, the cat's, I'm filming the class at the moment and the cat's watching the screen. It's quite funny. Okay. You enjoying that, Amy? The cat's called Amy, by the way. Right, so coming onto your fingertips, the chest is open, looking straight ahead. Making sure the right leg behind you is straight. Exhale, keep that belly tucked in, come onto the forearms, option 1. Option 2, sliding those arms forward, exhaling, bringing the forehead to the ground. Keep breathing. Then bring yourself over to the left hand side, really stretching out through that right arm. Keep breathing, so you're going to feel it more intensely in the left hip now. Inhale back to center. Exhale, move over, shift your weight over to the right hand side. Really stretch out through that right arm. Inhale back to center. And then very slowly, keep breathing, and inhale, walk the hands back in to pigeon pose, looking straight ahead. You're on your fingertips, chest is broad and open. So last option, anyone that wants that extra challenge can draw that right foot into their right buttock, and then see if you can take hold of that right foot with your right hand, and then look over your right shoulder. Keep breathing. So you're going to be feeling an intense stretch in the quad here. Breathe, and then very gently exhale. Release that leg, let it go. And then bring your weight onto your right foot, into the right tippy toes, and then bring your left foot to meet your right foot back into a downward dog or back into tabletop. And then just shaking out that left leg for a moment. Then dropping onto the knees. And then bringing your legs straight out in front of you into Dandasana star pose. So engaging those legs, flexing the feet, rolling the shoulders back and down, Bringing your palms just to the side of your legs. Gently tucking that chin and engaging those legs. Breathe. It's just going to let the central nervous system calm down now after quite a strong practice. Then from here, bring your left foot just to the right hand side of your right knee. Keeping that right leg active and engaged. Then wrapping your right arm around your left knee. Or you can basically bring your right elbow just to the left of your left knee. So you've got two options. You can either wrap or you can just sort of lock the arm in there. Then from here, exhale, begin to look over the right shoulder, bringing your right hand behind you on the mat, moving into a seated twisted pose, Ardha Matsyendra. Breathe. If you want to deepen on each exhalation, see if you can twist slightly more, but I want you to twist from the rib cage. Breathe. And then exhale, gently release, back to center. Straighten out the left leg now. Then bring the right foot just over the top of the left, and the right foot is just to the left of your right kneecap. Keeping the torso straight, rolling those shoulders back and down. Wrap the left arm around the right knee. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Bring your over the right shoulder now. The right shoulder. So previously I said right shoulder and it was your left shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Exhale, keep breathing. And if you want to deepen, twist from the rib cage, exhale. So we're just resetting the spine now. So we've done quite a few forward folds and doing sort of twists, resets the spine. And then very gently exhale, release, come back to center, and then just draw the soles in towards one another. Wrap your hands around the soles of your feet, around your feet. Inhale, straighten the torso, and then just gently butterfly the legs out. And from here, very gently release, let go, and come to lying on your back. Okay, so keep those heels in close to your buttocks. Just moving into bridge pose now. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So from here, making sure the legs are parallel. Exhale, begin to lift the hips, and as you lift the hips, you squeeze the glutes. And keep lifting, and then roll your shoulders under, interlock the hands, and keep the wrists on the mat. Keep squeezing and keep pushing those hips up and keeping those legs parallel. Breathe. Keep breathing, really breathing into that belly. And then very gently release, one vertebrae by vertebrae at a time. Letting go, and then just drawing those knees in towards your chest. Maybe taking an inhalation, bringing your forehead to your knees. And then exhale, gently release, gently rolling from side to side, massaging the back. And then let everything drop to the mat, letting go completely now. Resting in Shavasana, final pose of the practice. So bringing your palms to face up, let the feet roll out, let the hips relax. And if it's comfortable for you to do so, gently close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I just want you to remind yourself of any external sensations you noticed outside of your body at the start of the class, and then any that you notice now, and how you engage with those now compared to the start of the class. bring your awareness now to your body and just observing how your body feels now compared to the start. Just taking this time to scan from the head all the way down the spine, the arms, the hands, the legs, the feet, and back up again, observing for any remaining tension in the mind or the body. And if there is any remaining tension left now, take a deep inhalation through the nose and repeat yourself, let, and then exhale through the mouth, say go in your mind. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, let, exhale, go. And as you let go, the body sinks, the body melts, the body feels heavy against the ground. And as you let the body go, it becomes more still. And with that stillness, you find peace. And if your thoughts are starting to wander, just come back to observing your natural rhythmic breathing as it is. Don't force it, just observe it how it is, here and now, in this moment. As the body feels relaxed and rejuvenated against the ground on the mat, just remind yourself of where you are. You're at home. You're at home in your heart. Everything here, everything you have is here inside you. But also remind yourself you are in your home, on your mat, and you have everything you need. Taking your awareness now to your pelvis, to the root chakra, visualizing a red square. As you visualize that red square, remind yourself of those affirmations we said at the start. I am, I belong, I am secure, I am, I belong, I am secure. And your breath is smooth, deep, and continuous. No pauses,
No jerks and no irregularities. As you bring your awareness back to your breath, bring your awareness back to your body, noticing the weight of your body against the mat, that heaviness to the point where you almost feel light. Very gently begin to wiggle fingers and toes, rotating the wrists, rotating the ankles. Stretching the legs and stretching the arms overhead and taking the full body stretch. And maybe drawing the knees in and then just gently rolling from side to side. And then gently roll over to the right hand side, using your right arm as a pillow, keeping your eyes closed if you can. Then very gently pushing into your left hand, coming into a seated pose, into Sukhasana, easy pose. Rolling the shoulders back and down, gently tucking the chin in. Keeping those eyes gently closed if you can, and rubbing the hands together, creating warmth, creating energy. Then placing the hands over your face, feeling that warmth, feeling that energy. Gently opening your eyes, gazing into the darkness, gazing into stillness, gazing into peace. Bringing your hands to heart center, taking a moment just to say to yourself, I am. Namaste, and thank you for practicing with me and Amy. I hope you enjoyed the class.